Hello and welcome back to Cardboard Decoy Plays Gnomoria. So we started making some iron armor. Or was it? I think it was a farmer. A farmer already is walking around with a iron breastplate, and that will definitely be all right with me. That's for sure. I'm not complaining. So yeah, we're gonna continue exploring. All of our torches are built. I let a couple things finish. I tried to troubleshoot some issues with our tailor shop, but whatever. So we are just going to mine around. There's only a couple places where we're going to really need a bridge, I think. Like basically here and here. And then one for down in this area. And then everything else is relatively accessible. So it shouldn't be too much of a huge issue, I don't think. It's not going to require anything extreme or over-engineered or anything like that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna just start out the layout. We branch out this way. Yeah, we'll stop at 25. You can see a really good, like, 25 is definitely the limit, because let's go back up here. You can see over here where I put the torch one block away and it starts getting dim right there. So 25 away, or I guess you could say 23 in between torches is the ideal distance for light there. Or in another way you could put it is, let's see, 23 divided by 2 is 11 and a half. So light goes out 11 and a half blocks in order to keep everything well lit. Wait, how far was this? Let me measure this distance. That is 23. Okay, well, whatever. Let's build some torches, or at least line them up. Build, torch, torch, torchy, torch. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Ooh. And it went wherever I did go. Find the fish. Brought to you by Monty Python. Hilarious, hilarious stuff. Okay. Go like that. And there. Awesome. Easy peasy. Back to mining. Mine a wall. We're actually going to come out this way for these lower tracks. And then we'll hook it around. But I just wanted to line all of that up. And then we'll go straight up. Sweet. So, yeah. I haven't played much of Gnomoria in my free time, but I have been playing Factorio, and they've got some pretty exciting updates coming up. Still not enough to maybe warrant going back. It's Prison Architect actually came out with a whole lot of updates. They've been adding quite a bit of complexity to the game, and now like the mid and end game are both really taking shape really well. And that's very exciting to me, and I'm sort of interested in starting up that series again. But it's kind of like, okay, these are all, they feel like they're modifications on already existing functions, right? There's still a few things missing that I think I'm gonna wait for. They're not, it's kind of like, you know, maybe even an unrealistic sort of approximation of what I would like to see in the game, but it's still, like, I have a definite sensation, I guess. I'm really, like, I'm gonna turn into a huge hippie here. But I'm trying, I swear to God, to, like, not be super picky about it or anything. Then we'll dig out to there. It's only 24 because I didn't measure from the hallway itself, just out from it. But yeah, I'm trying to, I guess, maybe delay just a little bit longer. Like, I definitely, any time so far that I've, like, set up myself for, like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to do this for sure, and then don't worry, I've got it. I don't know, there's something inside of me that's just like, no you won't, and then I don't. And it's all there is to say about that. It's kind of like keeping up the news on Abyss Odyssey, and then I realized that I had been so completely defeated by kind of the issues at hand, like it was enough to just kill whatever excitement I might have had for the game otherwise. And so all of my, like, they broke one medallion, I didn't report on it. And it was alright. I actually played through to the Warlock on that. And I played the new Warlock, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was it. Like, it was just sort of an, oh, okay, kind of thing. I wasn't really, like, particularly impressed with the gameplay changes they made, because there weren't many, and after that, it was just sort of like, all right, cool. I don't. What do you want me to say about it? Yeah, I'm not exactly tripping over myself to start sucking developer dick. Pardon my French. So it was just sort of like a null interest moment. And now there's a new medallion, or a new mask, I should say, that's been broken off and has been showing, and I haven't even bothered. I'm just sort of like, no, I'm good. There's nothing else to be said about the game at this point. I think it was just a little too repetitive, and it relied on millions of people grinding the game constantly, and also being an incredibly niche game. And it's like, I don't know if it was like, this is kind of I hate to call it a postmortem, I think that's presumptuous, but sort of my own interest postmortem, like watching myself cycle through the interest in what happened there, is it was kind of like, really great concept, fantastic, want it to work really well, and I want there to be development in that angle. Like, I think it warrants, like, investigation, for sure. Like, that's about the best way I'm going to be able to illustrate my ideas on the topic, or my thoughts on the topic, more so. But at the same time, it was like, it wasn't fun for very long. I don't know what else there is to say. It was just sort of like, oh, okay, you want me to grind like it's an MMO, except there's no real scenery changes after a point, and there's not a whole lot of interaction with other people. And I already have a hard enough time convincing myself to play an MMO as it is, much less one that has no other motivating factor other than keep grinding to see more content. Oh, by the way, your grinding is dependent on the participation of millions of other people whose interest may or may not be as strong as yours, and nothing happens. We're going to hold content hostage until everybody likes our game. It's like, very bold strategy, and that's why I liked it. I mean, just 100% without a doubt, that was one of the big draws to me, was just that it was such a bold idea, and it was so neat. And I know there's been a few other games that have kind of experimented with the idea, namely like the Katamari Damacy guy who made the one about the big worm, and content was unlocked by how long you made the worm, and they were like, or I don't even know if it was content, it might have just been, they tried to get the worm to grow to the distance of like the moon, and then Mars, and then everything else, and then on their way to the moon and Mars, they realized those things are really, really, really far away. Like, even if everybody in the world was playing the game and making worms of an average length, then it would still just take years. And so they just, scaled it down a lot, which was very, very, very smart on their part. Let's go down to statues. I want to cull some statues first and foremost. I'm looking for things with a value in the hundreds. These are some really weird. Poor bronze breastplate. Do I want to sell them or do I want to smelt them? I want to smelt them. Then we'll turn them into statues. That'll work. Hammer, statue, here we go. Poor bronze statue, get rid of you. Poor malachite statue, gone. And poor bronze pickaxe. Yeah. Okay, cool. Malachite, copper. They're pretty plain, but I kind of want to keep them. Alright, let's look for other poor things. Find sapphire necklace. I didn't make any necklaces, so those are all the same. Let's go ahead and get rid of these. Alright, and we still need about 500 more. Sorry, I started focusing a little bit more. Oh hey, we got 8 rose gold. They automatically made the rose gold. That's fantastic. I'll let them continue doing that and then make stuff out of rose gold, which I think is just a teensy bit more valuable than gold. I could be wrong though. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. Let's see. Anything else at all? Where are my hides? But yeah, no, basically, I think unless you have a really good idea of how well liked your game is, or if you didn't set some sort of a time thing for it, and just to kind of keep people captivated, right? I think it's a very, very delicate balance of how many people are actually going to be playing this game, and how much are they going to actually be completing it, and what do we have to do in order to kind of keep that buzz going and keep everybody sort of interested. Because it's like, especially in the realm of Abyss Odyssey, like, I think once the first mask broke and we saw it was just sort of a new boss and 3 new enemies that were kind of like, oh, There are enemies that are just like the old enemies, except they're new. It was kind of like, well, I hate to say it, but I just don't care. Like, I can't think of any worse way to spend my time at this point. It's just not worth the effort. That's all there is to it. I kind of wanted to get to the leaderboards too and get to like the top 10, but those started getting overtaken by some really insane numbers, like some suspiciously cheaty numbers, I dare say. And I always wonder about that. If the security on your leaderboards is not great, you kind of open up yourself to really cheesy people, basically. Jesus. I'm trying to find just anything. Poor yak cheese. We're going to get rid of all this poor yak cheese. There we go. That put us just over the end. Cool. Awesome. And now our food is beneath 1,000. I'm fine with that because it's probably still going to climb, but at least we've kind of culled some of our less than needed stocks. Okay. Alright. That's going to put our archers right there at that juncture to get attacked. Oh, and I crashed. Stand by. Okay, so that actually was a pretty bad setback. I had to reset out, or remap out all the mining. Actually, I need to check and make sure I didn't set me back. Here we go. Okay, we're right where we left off. Let's save. Fantastic. Resume. And keep your fingers crossed. Okay. Oh my goodness. Two-headed ogre has been spotted. Oh man, that is a huge host. Okay. See what happens. Pretty much the exact same setup as before. Goblin has died. Okay. Please don't kill any of my archers. That's all I want, really. Did we kill everything? Is everybody dead? Well, I guess, you know. Idle, injured 2. Okay, we have... I think that's... Yeah, that's still the same amount. Yeah, we have somebody without an arm and somebody without a leg. But hey, look at that. We got more iron armor on the way, and it's getting onto our full-time employees, which is fantastic, and I'm totally fine with that. So, alright, they're going to haul off all the bodies. We did not crash. That's fantastic. The crashing is happening less, but at the same time, whenever it does happen, it's happening not necessarily consistently with what's going on the screen. That is to say, usually before, whenever the crashing happened, it was because there was some mispathing or something really awful going on that wasn't so great. And that's happening less and less because now, as we're revealing more terrain, the game is actually probably rendering quite a ways down. Like, I'm sure it probably stops after a certain point, but it's still keeping track of things that are going on and off the screen. And that's not good. That can bog things down pretty bad. So I don't know exactly how you ameliorate that situation, like to what extent and what power, like being able to selectively choose what's being actively processed. Like, I imagine anything that's not on the screen, like all the gnomes right now are just numerical data up above us that are going about their day-to-day lives without actually rendering sprites. And that's all well and good, and that's actually fantabulous, but that's still, like, there's a lot of activity going on, and probably beetles spawning in the walls and God knows what. I don't know exactly. So far, so good. Like, I'll open up a wall in some of these locations and it's not like a whole bunch of beetles spring out, so I'm going to guess that it doesn't necessarily work the way I think, and there's a certain level of, you know, you have to have gnomes not only present, but also there has to be access to the area where your gnomes are for them to actually start attacking you. So, and if that's the case, then, I mean, that's very good. We don't have to worry so much about, you know, imminent threats and all of that. So we're going to get prepared here to build some bridges over. I've got some accessory tunnels that'll continue to expand outwards. Now, you know what? Do I want to build a bridge there or here? I think this will probably be a much better place. Or is it? Oh, not even a leg to stand on. Crutches should be a thing. It's a thing in Dwarf Fortress. You can actually, if somebody starts missing legs or gets a broken leg, they'll get crutches, and that becomes a skill, and they just basically have to learn how to walk faster and faster all over again as a separate skill. And right now, kind of wishing that was a thing in this game. It'd be really funny if you had to do dual crutches and you're basically working on walking on arm stilts. That's totally a viable option. What is that? Bronze armor plate. Why do we have a random bronze armor plate? There's also some issues with some of the, like, whenever you tell them to build previous materials kind of deal, it has a tendency to kind of go overboard with that. Let's turn some of our leftover stuff. Let's see, what do we have? Malachite bar. We can make 1, 2, 3, 4. And then how much bronze do we have? We have a ton of bronze. We are going to build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There we go. 100 bronze worth of statues. So that'll be good trade items, good value items. As we trade, our value does drop a little bit. It's already down below 300,000, and part of that I think, well, no, we didn't really do any major cleanup. Like, I didn't overtrade intentionally with the thought that I'd be relieving myself of some of the things I don't necessarily want. But it does go down, and I have no idea why. Like, it's actually, I would assume that there's probably some kind of a value trade-off, but you'd think, oh, you know what, it does make a lot of sense, because we're trading under really bad, just because we don't have a, hold on, let me see, merchant city-state. Yeah, I really want to get enough value so that we can hopefully find a mining town. If we can find a mining town, that means we could trade metal for really cheap, if not at cost, and so we're no longer trading down for ore, which I think is our biggest barricade to, like, obtaining value at this point, at least through trading, because right now I'm just trading metal with the idea that I'm going to turn it into something, and then that something's going to be worth more than what I traded it in for originally, which works to a degree. Statues especially. Statues are a really good value proposition. Jewelry, the gems are really cheap, but once you attach that to like a necklace or something, that increases the value pretty exponentially, and that's really good. That's the kind of thing we want to do whenever it comes to creating value in our kingdom. But otherwise, you know, we're hanging out. I almost want to, you know what, I'm gonna dig out all the gems. While we're waiting for them to catch up on torches there, we're gonna go back and dig out all the gems to give our jeweler something to practice with. That is the plan. That is a really good plan, I think, because our jeweler is still pretty new at his job. He wasn't necessarily super talented at it or anything whenever we assigned him. I just realized a need for a dedicated jeweler. So I think it is time to go through and get all of these gems that we've been leaving in the rock, just so that we can kind of avoid having to deal with a value explosion sort of situation. So we'll go ahead and do that with all of our sapphires. He can practice on that, and then hopefully he'll start making more than just poor necklaces and the things like he has been making right now, which is, you know, just absolutely shameful. We're a rich community full of jewelers and statue makers and beer brewers and sandwich crafters, sandwich artists, man. True sandwich artistry, not that heretical Subway bullshit. Okay, we've got some over there, so we'll place just a few torches. Going to build torch. We'll remember to go through here for a second pass, but that'll be the plan, especially since it's just a gem vein. It's probably not going to be huge. We will have to go through this entire section of wall. Yep. In there. Okay. Getting pretty fast at it. We'll go ahead and dig all of these out. Training jewels. It's almost not quite similar in sound to turn it into like a training wheels kind of joke, but such is life. Not actually jewel is only potato. Oh, good old our Latvian jokes. That's so wrong in so many levels, yet weirdly funny if it's done right. Most of the stuff on our Latvian jokes are really bad. Just absolutely awful. I guess I could probably be justified in digging out the rest of those walls there, but I'm not going to, because really, no, I'm not gonna waste your or my time sitting there and doing that. As much as I am entranced with the idea of digging out the entire map eventually, I'm not gonna start doing that today. That's gonna be much later, once I become some sort of maniacal overlord, or all of a sudden I get like 100. If I got like okay, seriously, if you can get me 100,000 subscribers tomorrow, I'll go ahead and dig out the whole map, my channel, until I have completed either A, my life, or B, the actual goal at hand. And actually, whichever one would come first would be kind of a tricky question. It'd be quite daunting to actually find out, to say the least. I will dig out the whole goddamn map in Gnomoria. That's what would happen. So, you know, post that to Reddit and try to be a jackass or something, but I highly doubt you can find 100,000 people who would want to not even watch somebody do it, but just make someone do it out of spite. That just either A, perceived as too cruel, or B, shit posting. Yeah, basically. Let's see. Alright, mine the wall here. Yeah, this episode's just about over. I hope I got the calculations on the crash right at least. So, yeah, this has been Cardboard Decoy playing Gnomoria. If you have enjoyed, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Much appreciated and all of that fun jazz. So, yeah, until then, have fun.